Right, hello people, how are you all doing? Is everybody alright? Is everybody having a lovely day? It is another day for a Rust Skin Saturday Skin Showcase. So, let's get myself all nice and set up, and ready to speak to all of you. Did everybody have a nice Saturday? Nice dinner? A lovely week? All past us? Let's get SCMM up and running, and I am here. Hello. Right, so there is a bit of a problem with SCMM at the moment, as you can see. The numbers, I mean, it might update now, but the numbers haven't been updating properly. Something's gone wrong, so we can't really talk about sales that much today, because, well, I don't think this is updated properly as of, well, because I don't know when this last updated, I can't really give you a good reference to give you a good idea of how things are currently moving at the moment. We're in a bit of an awkward spot. We can talk with what information we've got here above me, so we'll roll with that. So, graffiti scrap storage is ahead at the moment with the most sales, not too much of a surprise. Out of everything that was here, the most reliable purchase that you could do as an investment. Also, the thing that's most likely going to have the most demand is the skin. That's the next part of the graffiti storage set. Totally understandable. So, with that, I'm not surprised it is ahead at the moment, but of course I can't tell you how far it might go, because even though it's almost been 2 days since the Rust Store rotation, I cannot actually sit here and tell you what we can expect with how it's moving at the moment. Thank you very much, Mr. Perilous Outlaw. I appreciate that a lot, buddy. So, what I am very pleased to see is the Skullkiller chestplate and face mask are actually doing very, very nicely at the moment. They are the second and third most sold skins so far, from what I can see. So at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if these have surpassed around 10,000. They're probably up to about 12,000 sales each right about now. So a great start for a new piece of armour and clothing. I do believe, I'm not sure where, but apparently the creator has started to mention that he's going to want to make the clothing next. Nice. Think about a full loadout? Yes. So he says it slightly there, but I don't think anyone's actually properly asked him. Someone I know said he was planning to make hoodie and pants next. I don't have any concrete evidence of that, but hopefully, well, I'm pretty sure now that he's got the tier 3 out, he would then have the clothing out eventually soon. Maybe the tier 2, but I reckon clothing would be the best answer. Make the hoodie and the pants next. That will roll out a whole lot nicer as an improvement, as also with the demand that it currently has. Now, Outer Planet sleeping bag looks very nice. Another glow-in-the-dark sleeping bag. And as we've seen before, we have had one quite recently, a glow-in-the-dark sleeping bag that was the Molten Visage sleeping bag. The egg on the floor. I don't want to sound too mean, but it definitely looked like an egg was dropped on the floor. But it glows in the dark and it looks cool. So, that is currently up 28%. People like it a lot, and it sold around 25,000. That has flourished very, very nicely. So, I reckon we're going to see very similar numbers with this Outer Planet sleeping bag. I reckon it's probably going to behave the exact same way. So if you remember my conditions, the most likely reason why some of these sleeping bags have behaved poorly before is because they were very holiday themed. This one's very holiday themed for Christmas. This one's very holiday themed for Valentine's. Now this one has also done badly as well, and it wasn't really themed for anything. I guess it just wasn't a design people liked. It just probably didn't have that much appeal. Sorry to say, that's the best answer I can give. But what we can also do is just take a real quick look. How many of them on the Steam market? 48. So that's not that many, is it? So how about if we just quickly go and see what price that is in dollars? And if this sold for $1.49, you're looking at about 10, 15 until it reaches $1.50 again. It's a bit iffy. So it just looks like it's come down to the point that people just didn't like the design of the sleeping bag. You know what? That's just the way it is sometimes. My apologies to the creator, but yeah, like I mean, it sold almost 16,000. I'm sure you're still very happy. Now, the JPEG SAR. JPEG SAR, it is a continuation of the ever-flowing JPEG set. Thompson's doing very nice, isn't it? Up 92%. That was quite a surprise. So, JPEG SAR, again, I can't give you a proper good idea of how things are moving at the moment because we don't know the proper sales amount. But it's definitely pushing its weight. It's doing better than the military AK, so I did expect that. The new JPEG set definitely has a bit of momentum behind it. People definitely seem to be invested in what the Mr. GBG is putting out. I wonder what's next. Personally, I'd like to see a revolver or a semi-automatic pistol. Give us a handgun. Give us a handgun. That would be nice. And then eventually, I'm pretty sure we're going to see an AK, because of course you'd have an AK in a gun set, wouldn't you? So JPEG set doing very nicely. I do expect more to appear in the workshop sometime soon. Maybe this next Monday. You know, JPEG SAR was pretty quick. It appeared this Monday and then it appeared in this roster rotation. Maybe we'll see another JPEG skin on this Monday's workshop, and we'll probably see that next Thursday's rotation. We'll see how it plays out. And of course, the military AK, we showed this off last week. Looks very nice. Nice detail. Has a little bit of a green tip to help you with aiming. So that's cool. So we got that potentially to show off today. We do have the cardboard crossbow. So there is actually a cardboard set. I don't have a link to it at the moment, but there is actually a cardboard set. And now, weirdly, we've got a cardboard crossbow that isn't part of the cardboard set. It's made by a different creator. It's a whole silly thing. So not sure if there's a bit of miscommunication over that, but don't get mixed up. There is a cardboard set, but this isn't part of that cardboard set. And we have Warlord, Hatchet and Pickaxe. So in the workshop, I did see a few tool sets that had been put on the workshop this past Monday. Quite a decent amount of glowing ones. But to my surprise, we have the Warlord set. Is this a new creator, Mr. Novarom? It is indeed. Well done, buddy. I didn't even realise that. So congratulations on your first skins being accepted into Rust. I wonder what you got next. Let's take a real quick look. What do you have next, Mr. Novarom? How long have you been making skins for? Let's just take a real quick look. Ah, he's been at it for a while. It's good to see, bud. It's good to see you. Oh, unturned? Rust. Yeah, good job, bud. You pushed through, and now you got something accepted. I hope to see some more from you in the future, much like Mr. GBG. Keep up the good work. It's nice to see. So, let's just take a real quick look and see how things from last week are currently behaving. Dragon Rage Bandana is moving quite alright. Armor Storage, moving okay-ish. Now, these two are quite a surprise. This really is surprising me. This did not have the build-up build-up to keep its price up. But it's up 28%. But like I said just a few days ago, you've got to wait until next Thursday. You need to see what happens when all of the 7-day cooldown purchases are over with, and then they can be listed on the market if they might. Because a lot of people with the pure intent to sell them, they are still waiting for that 7-day cooldown to go down. And when it's done, they're going to throw it in the market. So let's just get a quick look and see how these are behaving on the Steam market. So the Dragon Rage Bandana sold for $1.49, and right now it's currently selling for, at its cheapest price, $1.79. The buy orders leading all the way up to around $1.30, so that's cool. The buy order build up is there. It's keeping the price up. But at the moment, there seems to be enough demand to keep the Dragon Rage Bandana up afloat and doing very nicely. Now, there is one guy here currently selling 17, but it's around $2, so that should be fine. But my biggest worry is this time. So in a good few days, I'm kind of expecting a whole lot more to be appearing on the Steam market, and I am worried that more and more of the quantities will be bigger and thicker, and cause problems and potentially cause the price to be affected. Let's just see how it plays out. It's a bit of doom and gloom to talk like that, but it's the usual. You've got to be cautious. You've got to be aware. You've got to monitor your buy orders just in case things might go wrong. Things might go awkward. But with almost 1,100 buy order requests, this is in a very nice position. A very comfy perfectly safe position. Now with the graffiti armor storage, I looked at this and I thought, I think the buy order build up is looking very strong, and then I went into the buy order myself, didn't I? Well, the highest buy order actually disappeared, I believe. I think it went up to about $2.30. That guy seems to have disappeared. And we've got a dumper at 43 right here. If you're that dumper, what are you doing? That is very, very, very stupid. You do not want to be making things like this happen. Please remove it. If you're going to cause big walls to appear, you're not going to allow this skin to flourish. It's never going to be able to climb up in price naturally with its demand, because you're making a big fat wall which is going to stop that price from going any higher. You're ruining your own profits, you're ruining the value of the skin, and you're making it worse for everybody else involved. So it's just the usual. It's usually ignorant people, inexperienced people, or lazy people. It's not a good answer either way. So if that disappeared, things would look a whole lot more convenient and appealing with this armor storage. So if that was out of the way, it could very easily go up to about $3, maybe even further. So it's not down below its rustore price at the moment. It's not. It did kind of touch around that just a day ago, but things are okay at the moment. It's not doing the worst. It's not stone storage, but it's not looking the best either. But with almost 1,200 requests, it's okay. Let's see how things play out. Let's hope this guy removes this quantity, because that's like a third of the overall quantity as well. I don't know why people do things like this. But again, it's usually just down to laziness or inexperience. Now here we are, the Armoured Door from Hell. Very surprised with its current situation. The buy orders. The buy order build-up still ends at around $2.20. So will it last? That's the thing. That's what I'm juggling in my head. I was well aware that there was a potential for this to easily go wrong. If the buy order build-up only went up to around $2.20, I assumed that when the dumpers eventually would appear with this, the undercutters and whatnot, the price would potentially go down, it might suffer. But at the moment, no, it hasn't. And what I'm led to believe is that everybody that owned one of these hasn't listed it at too close of a price of its rustore price. What I'm saying is this sold for $4, but nobody's listed any of these around $4 something. They've all of them have tried to sell it at $6 or $5. Nobody's gone down to about $4 something. So much so that now the buy orders have actually started to creep up a bit. They're not very thick, but they have been creeping up higher and higher and higher. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we didn't look at this and think, oh, it's going to be okay. I don't know what to say. I'm surprised by it. We'll see what happens. I still think things could potentially be worse off for it by next Thursday. I still imagine there'll be a whole lot more than 78 appearing on the market. Let's just play it out over the course of these few days. If it manages to keep it up, I'm impressed. So, good job so far, Mr. Armoured Door from Hell. Let's see if you can keep it up. JPEG Thompson is in a very similar situation as well. I'm led to believe that people just didn't list them for... They just didn't want to sell them for around $3, the rustore price. They thought, oh, I could sell this for $4. I could sell this for $5. I could sell this for $6. And at the moment, it seems to be working. Very similar situation. The buy orders have slowly crept up. Thompson skins, I told you, they're very reliable, but I didn't realise they'd be this reliable. So, yeah, the highest point the buy order build-up went up to was around $2.40. But then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 9, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. It just kept climbing and climbing. So let's see how many appear in the market by next week. But what I'm led to believe is the JPEG set was liked a lot, and more people jumped onto it. More and people jumped aboard and thought, I want to keep using this. I want to get a whole set of the JPEG set. Maybe it just flourished because there's suddenly a lot of interest in it. It does look cool in game. I will give it that. It does have a very interesting design to it. And we showed it off last week. So, it's nice to see it doing well. So that is last week's skins, and this still hasn't updated, has it? Nope. So we can't talk much about the sales. We can't talk much about how far they might go in terms of total sale amount and whatnot, because SCMM doesn't seem to be working at the moment. I think it's a API issue. It's been affecting more than just SCMM. So if you're worried about what's going on here, it is affecting everybody else. Don't worry too much. So with that, I reckon we should start the showcase for all of these new skins. Hey, so let's go get ready for that. Right then, gents, so here we are. It's another day. July 21st store, the SAR JPEG, the AK-47 military, AK, the cardboard crossbow, the Warlord Tier 2 toolset, Micro's running around. Hello, Micro. Skullkiller high quality, what was that about? Skullkiller high quality set, the Tier 3, graffiti scrap storage, finally, and the Outer Planet sleeping bag. So, Mr. Micro, I'm going to go quickly look at the sleeping bag. Can you go get yourself ready to put on that ever so lovely new Skullkiller gear in the nicest pair of clothing you can find? You go forth and do that, and I'll look at the sleeping bags. So, as we can see right here, we have the Outer Planet sleeping bag. More deployables for the Outer Planet set. They have proven to be very successful. Let's just look at this during the day. It does stand out quite nicely. A very nice design. As we've seen with all the recent Outer Planet stuff, they have sold very, very nicely in the sales, and they have performed very nicely as investments. So if you're looking at this thinking, would this be an okay investment? Remember what I said with the Molten Visage when we first looked at that and when we talked about that. The reason why I use that as a comparison is because it's perfectly fine to jump into and buy during the early game in your base when you don't have any electricity and whatnot. You're going to need to navigate around your base at night time, usually maybe with hardly any light. It's very, very helpful to have a glow-in-the-dark sleeping bag. It can help you a ton with your coordination, walking around your base, trying to figure out where you are. Let's make it nighttime so we can see that for yourself. So it's very, very clear. It's very, very nice to see. A nice planet. And as you can see in the distance there where it's nice and pitch black, very noticeable. So if I just walk over, it's literally pitch black, but I can easily figure out where I am, all thanks to the position of my sleeping bag. Congratulations, creator of the Outer Planets. I can't remember who made it. I've forgotten. But it's working out and flourishing very nicely. You got a locker skin, so I'm very happy for you. So, I think I want to show off that that new armor, because for a long time we were hoping to see the Black Gold Tier 3, but that didn't happen, did it? Instead, we've got Skullkiller, and I've said this before, I'm not upset with that. I'm actually perfectly happy. We have something else to anticipate now, because by the looks of things, we didn't actually have anything else other than Black Gold Tier 3. It was quite sad. Hello, Micro. So, where have you been? You're running around and... Go on.
You know, I went and I grabbed a couple other gear sets that I haven't even tested. They came to me off the top of my head as stuff I have in my personal inventory. So we could show it off with some other setups too.
You're like a kid who's explaining himself and he's looking the other way. I'm sorry, I haven't been anywhere naughty. Anyway, so as you can see, Mr. Micro is currently wearing that ever so lovely looking Skullkiller armor, Tier 3. So, as we just position ourselves nicely like here, we pointed out to you that Skullkiller was originally a skin set that came out on the workshop about a month ago, but it wasn't accepted. So, the creator of this set, Mr. Horror he went back to it, he made a version 2, he had some more scratching, some more detail. Let's just get a nice zoom in on your face, Mr. Micro, the face mask, because that face mask has been getting a lot of attention quite recently. The added scar on the left eye looks very, very cool. The scratching to the right side of the face looks very nice. I didn't want to say it, but it's very similar in the design of the Punisher mask, isn't it? It's kind of like a blue Punisher mask, but not straight up Punisher, because that was all like had parts like deleted and whatnot to make it stand out more. This is a very, very nice blue piece of armour, navy blue. We've been looking for something like this, because for the longest time, we couldn't figure out what we could use our Skullkiller weapons with. But it looks like the creator has saved us, because now we have something very nice to use that with. So let's just... Oh, I'm a little bit glitchy here. Right, there we go. You're looking fabulous, Mr. Micro. Thank you very much. So, what do you reckon? Do you like the design of what you see here? Do you reckon this is something to look out for in the future? Because I am certainly looking forward to the clothing, the hoodie and the pants. Right now we have Loot Leader clothing with this Skullkiller. I want to see what it looks like when he's made all of the clothing and that tier 2. A very nice navy blue standout. Oh, that's Loot Leader. Sorry, I got that wrong. Wait.
Nope. This is Outlaws.
Outlaws. Yep, that's it.
Yep, the other one was Loot Leader.
Brain stopped working. Not good. Sorry. So, yeah, I look forward to what potentially will be coming out with this. The navy blue, we haven't had a proper navy blue set come out before, have we? I don't think we've had proper navy blue clothing before, have we? I know there was some pants, but I don't think we've actually had a proper shirt to go with it. But it's nice to see that we, as I said, we can anticipate a new set to look forward to. So, Mr. Micro, you have a weapon to showcase, don't you? If I quickly take a look at that, let's turn it to nighttime again. And let's get a nice...
I just pulled out the Tommy to match the hoodie, or the...
Which were you aimed at, sir? So we got a nice Skullkiller Thompson that came out a good 3 weeks ago. Pairs up very, very nicely with the Skullkiller. A nice backdrop with the blue sky in the background at night time. Very, very nice. Do you know what? How about you just slowly walk into the darkness? See if it shines a lot. So it does kind of shine a little bit. The blue kind of stands out. It's a very nice sort of... it kind of looks like a Zool when you're in the darkness. Yeah. Now walk a little bit closer. Yes. Like, stand in the water and slowly walk out. The water is your camouflage. And then we'll turn it to daytime. And yeah, looks very nice. Looks very cool. Now, good sir, do we have some nice weapons to show off?
Absolutely. We have a couple of weapons to show off from this week.
And Meta, I see your question there. We don't have the proper numbers in SCMM. SCMM is broken at the moment to a point. Not broken because of the website. It's Steam. Something awkward's happened, so we can't track the data properly for sales. Mr. Micro has a whole batch of things in his hands. He's got a lot of them. Oh, God, watch out. So, if you can pose very nicely, Mr. Micro, as I look at you from the side, can we look at the military AK, which came out this week, but we already saw last week. So, if you recall, we showed this off. It has a very, very helpful green dot on its aim sight, which I can't really show you very well at this like this, but we can get a good look at its design on the side. Looks very, very nice. You've done a very good job here, the creator. Who created this again, sir? It's I can't remember now. Do you remember who created the military set?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Rob Star's set.
Yeah.
Rob Star and Diaz, like a pair.
Yes.
Tag team.
So
Dynamic duo.
The previous skin that we've had with military was the Python, and before that it was the crossbow, if I'm correct. Yes, yes, it was.
About right.
Yep, so that looks cool. How about we take a look at some of the newer things that have come out? So, what do we have here? This right here, gentlemen, is the JPEG SAR. Very, very nice. Very nicely cel-shaded, as you can see right here. How about we make it nighttime? Wow. So, from what we can gather, the set started off with JPEG Thompson. and it must have sold very nicely for Face Punch to immediately want the next one. So we had JPEG out last week. This appeared on the Monday, instantly accepted for the next roster rotation. So what's the likelihood that we see another one next week? I probably wouldn't expect it to happen immediately, but if we do, we could probably see this being a weekly occurring set like Black Gold was. Congratulations to GBG for getting this accepted, because people definitely seem to be enjoying it. It seems to have been selling very nicely. The JPEG Thompson sold almost 20,000 sales, so good job there. Looks very nice in the dusk. I hear a bear. I hope he's not coming for us. It's us. You can't have it, bear. Go away. Do you want to test it out? Shoot the bear.
Look for that thing. He's hiding behind the rock.
All right. He I think he's run off. Let's go check the next things. Do you have any other weapons? I believe we have a crossbow.
Yeah, we got a crossbow here.
Cardboard crossbow. So let's get a look at that on the side. The helicopter's very angry with us. He's coming in the background. Can you shoot him down with that?
We might run into a problem if we have the patrol heli show up.
And there's the bear. Get the bear. Move backward. Okay. Okay. So technical difficulties there. We got attacked by a bear. We got attacked by an attack chopper, patrol chopper. Everybody was out to get us. They don't want us to show you these wonderful looking skins. So I'm sorry. I'm looking at the floor. Yeah, very nice feet. Anyway, so the cardboard crossbow. Hopefully uninterrupted, we can get a good look at this. Looking very nice up close. Very nice design. Good job, Mr. Little Ranger. Do not stack. Don't know what that implies. So if we just look at this over to the side. Please handle with care. That's a nice reload, Mr. Micro. Good job. Shoot it. Shoot it.
Here, I'll put one right here.
Hey. Ow. Alright, so that's looking very, very nice. Let's look at that in daytime.
You had mentioned during the preamble when you were showing SCMM and talking about each of the skins that this was a cardboard skin but wasn't done by the same creator, and you're totally right. This is like a separate creator. As far as I know, they're unrelated. I just DM'd to you the link to what's being called the cardboard collection, but was originally most of these skins were referred to as like the fake skins, fake vest, fake kilt, fake helmet, and they all have the appearance of being constructed out of cardboard, just like this crossbow does. So it's interesting that we're seeing a new entry or a skin in the same exact theme of an existing collection, and it does have a different name than the elements of the existing collection. But interestingly, the collection itself is called the cardboard collection. So it's very confusing.
Oh, you cut out there. You cut out there.
I did?
Yeah, you said very confused.
Oh, it's very confusing. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why that this has the same name as an existing collection, and the existing collection is named differently than all of the items that are in it. So there's some strange funny business going on here. Shouldn't say funny business. I'm not saying anyone's doing anything shady. It's confusing. That's all.
So, do we have some tools to showcase as well, good sir?
Indeed I do.
Right, so that is the Warlord hatchet, I believe. Looks very nice up close. We've got the nice detail of the skull screaming. If I do a nice little twirl around over to the other side, of course it's the same. How about we look at it during the dusk? Looks cool. You look very happy there holding your little tool right there. Yeah. How about you show off your pickaxe? There we are. He's got it nice and held up close to him, as we can see during the daytime. Let's get a good look at that. Let's get a nice up close look at the detail. I want it to...
This is an opportunity to point out an interesting design challenge when it comes to pickaxes. If you look at the handle, you can see it has a very very obvious like book matching effect. Like it's symmetrical about the vertical axis. Both of the stripe patterns is reflected across that vertical axis, and that's because that's how this thing is mapped. So like virtually every pickaxe you see has that reflection kind of built in, and designers have to take that into account when preparing a design.
That does look really cool. Wow. All right. So, is that all of the handheld things for the week? The weapons and the tools?
Yes. Have you showed them in first person?
I shall do so right now, good sir. So, let me free myself.
I mean, I have other items to show that are not continuations, but are sort of interesting.
How about you grab all of them and get ready, and I'll show everything else in first person, and then we'll start looking at deployables afterwards. Sound good?
Yeah. Okay.
I hid it all here. Aha. So, let's just bring back everything I had before. So, as I said last week, we showcased the military AK, so I don't think I need to show that off too much. Remember what I said? Has a little bit of a green tip to help with the aiming. The aim sight right here. You can shoot it in I'm lagging a little bit. There you go. In most environments, that's going to help you out. Maybe not in the green areas. It helps a lot in the desert. I'm a little bit laggy. That's a bit weird. So if I just quickly shoot this. Right. Right. Let's just close this. Get real up close. As you can see, looking very nice. Aim again. Green on orange. Very handy. Right. Now we have the SAR. So the SAR's looking very nice up close. Yep. Let's get a good look at that. Yeah. Right, there is a slight irregularity that you might notice. Take a look at the side of the woodstock. You know, below the aim sight. Look at how, when I look at it, do you see how the shadows, the lighting reacts to it a little bit differently? Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a variation between the world model and the view model. They're not exactly the same. So this art and skin were fully like baked and like prepared in software to work properly for the third person view for the world model. But I guess that's really difficult to implement the same exact way when it comes to the first person, the view model. And so like that's geometry that's beyond the artist's control. That's something that Face Punch would have to fix.
You don't see this in third party. You can only see this in first person.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, other than that, what else do we have? We have the crossbow right here. Fragile. That I like that. Don't shoot myself. I'll shoot this. So. I suck. So, looks cool. Let's just look at it up close. Looking nice. Yep. Shoot. Hey, I missed. And we'll quickly have a look over here during the night time. Let's get a good look at that. Over here. Aim it down. Look at left. Look at right. Looks cool. Do you know what? I didn't do the AK, so we'll do that as well. To the left. To the right. Look at over here. Look at over there. Nice and shiny. Very cool. Get the tools. Have a look to the left. Have a look to the right. Look at... Yep. Make it daytime. Sounds good. Show it off. Very cool. And we got the pickaxe. Give it the N. Press N to look around. There we are. I mean N because N's the button to inspect. Sorry. There we are. Nice and shiny in the light. And yep, that's all good. Cool. So, Mr. Micro, I do believe you have some interesting things to show off. Please show them off if you can.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm on my way.
We're I didn't realise you were going to do that. Well, I can believe we have a very spectral micro to show off the tier 3 black gold that we've been hoping and wishing for. It hasn't actually come out this week, unfortunately, but as I said, Skullkiller came out in its place this week. We now have to wait a little bit longer, but that's cool. So, I think this has progressed very, very nicely, because this is actually like the second edition of the armour. The first version was a whole lot more shinier, wasn't it? And the creator took a lot of constructive criticism. He needed a whole bunch of people to say, what would you prefer, what would you like? So he put it out, but he realised there might be some potential problems. Some people didn't properly like it. So he put the effort in to figure out what people wanted, and now we've got something that looks very nice and appealing. A very nice matte black type of sheen. Do you happen to know more about the situation, Mr. Micro, as he walks into the darkness and slowly walks back?
There was a Twitter post that went up that was like asking for feedback from the community. And then the artist did sort of like an open house kind of thing where he set up a channel on his Discord. Anybody who was interested was welcome to join in and contribute to the conversation. So there was like some sketches passed around. There was some open dialogue about what would look best, about how it should be in terms of glossy or matte, how the lines should flow, because there's this arm or the clothing set is made up of some sort of straight lines, like the little gold accents. There's a mixture of straight and curved lines here, and as an artist, you want to make sure that flow is maintained and consistent across the set. So there was a little bit of back and forth about how those accents should be implemented on the armor set. So there was a pretty cool conversation that went on for a few hours, and once all the feedback had been expressed, and shared and articulated, he took all of that. He being Bad Trip, the artist here, he took all that back and went and did his final touches, and what you see here is the result. I think it turned out like super good. He did a nice something that wasn't present on the first version was this like mesh inlay on the cheeks of the face mask. I think that was a cool accent to sort of break it up and keep it like matte, but also give it a little more texture and a little more visual appeal than just a fully smooth texture everywhere. So really good on him for the rework, for being open to the community feedback. Something we don't really see a lot. I mean, we do hear a lot of feedback on the workshop pages to the artists. You'll hear people saying, oh, I don't like it, or this isn't good, or I love it, do more. Please do this, please do that. But what we don't see is this live interactive dialogue between the artists and the community to say, well, what do you want to see as players, as the people who are going to be using and paying for this stuff? Quite frankly, what do you want? I'll make what you want. And I think that's a really cool gesture and experience to have as a community member, to say, I think it should be this, I think it should be that. It's pretty cool occurrence for that to happen. Yeah. And one thing I could say here is he also did update the boots, but they haven't updated on my server here, so I would have to refresh the my workshop page, which I could do for next stream.
Old gold.
Can't do it right now. The gold, that's very gold toe, is now made a little more black. It's like sort of like a gold outline, a black toe. So it fits more with the theme of the set.
One more slow twirl if you can. Yeah, nice and spinny. Very nice gold trim on all of the clothing as well as the armor. Looks very, very nice. What would you prefer? Are you a blackout connoisseur? Do you like the Dragon Rage style? Or do you like the new black gold set that's coming to a Rustore near you? What's your opinion? What's your preference? Personally, I'm just happy that he put a very good effort into it, and the result, I like it a whole lot more than the original design, and the effort that he put into listening to everybody, hearing everybody's opinions and whatnot. Very, very nice. And now he's pointing a gun at me. So yeah, the black gold weapons with the black gold, very, very nice combination. Yeah, let's make it dusk. Early in the morning, he holds his black gold gun, ready to shoot someone just for fun. Oh, it looks so much cooler in the dusk. So, is there anything else that you might want to show off, good sir?
Yes, sir. I have a bunch. Actually, why don't you
Yeah.
take my... actually, here, I'm going to get it out of the box and I'll just equip it. Because one thing that we saw last week with the JPEG Tommy was the hilarious combination of the aims, or the hollow sight and the JPEG Tommy. It has a similar effect here. I also have a 8x scope I could put on just for the
it looks just looking at it right now, so I'm just like staring at him right here, holding a very high def looking aim sight on top of this comic style weapon. Shoot the deer behind you.
Hello, Mr. Deer.
Yeah,
Mr. Deer.
Well executed.
And nobody uses this combo, but here's a 16x on the SAR, and it looks so funny if you want to see that yourself in first person. It's like, it's so amusing to see the combination of textures there.
Why is there another deer? You should have learned. Why didn't he die? So yeah, very, very silly. Very, very, very silly. Right, so, good sir.
Okay, I have a couple more things here, so you can, I guess, point the camera towards me, and I'll show off. I got 3 more guns here, a pair of boots, and a rock.
I got a rock.
Would you care to have a preference towards what is seen first?
Your personal preference, I guess. That's perfectly fine.
I'll start with number 1 because that's what's on my hotbar on the number 1 position.
Spin to the left and the right a little bit just to showcase what this looks like from a bit of a distance. Yep. And now let's get real up close, because you happen to be holding the Iron Wolf AK-47. We very recently had the SAR. SAR did okay. But this is definitely one of those types of skins where a lot of effort has been put into all of the detail rather than the colour on the skin. And I do appreciate the efforts that get put into this. Very nicely done on the texturing. What's it called again? Mapping? That's it. I've said it wrong before.
Texturing. Yeah, there's a bunch of different elements at work here. He's sculpting the 3D geometry.
Sculpting is what I meant to say. That's it. I got it wrong.
Texturing, there's the coloration, but then you also have like the shininess and the parts that fade into the shadows when you have the light hit it just right. So there's a lot of components to a skin like this. It's more than just a graphic slapped onto the gun.
Yes. Hopefully we see something like that being added soon.
I brought this in because we saw the Iron Wolf SAR get accepted, and so stands to reason there may be some, I wouldn't say preference, but just desire to continue that set. If that SAR has momentum, maybe we'll see the AK as well. That's all I wanted to show there.
Anything else to show off, good sir? Or do you want to talk more about this? It's up to you.
Well, I'll say one more thing here. It's not a lot to say. I mean, there's not a ton of features here that's to separate this from the SAR. I mean, it fits the theme really well. Like, it's done very much in that same exact style, and it blend, it goes together quite nicely. So they work well together as a pair, although you probably wouldn't find yourself using an AK and a SAR at the same time. But I think it's done in this very same theme, and it accurately continues that set. So it's a well done continuation.
Very nicely put.
And move on to the next continuation here.
So Kevlar was the last Kevlar was AK, correct? I don't think we've had. Have we had one more in between that wasn't accepted?
I don't think so. I believe the Kevlar AK was accepted during that recoil update, and that was the first we saw from that set.
Do you know what? It kind of blends very nicely with the black gold. Even though it's not a black gold weapon, the design of it matches up very nicely to the black gold design with all the indents and the trimming. Yeah, because the AK came out at what, $3.49. It didn't maintain its value, did it, Mr. Micro? No.
Much like every other AK in existence.
Yes, indeed.
I'll point out that the AK was created back in February and then was accepted for that recoil update, which happened in June, early June.
One of the anomaly skins, because they were pushing to have some very interesting designs for weapons that had their recoils updated. They subliminally wanted you to buy the skins and want to use the weapons. So that's just a guess, though. That's not like something we definitely know. It's just something we're under the assumption of.
Well, that all makes perfect sense, right? They're going to do an update which has everybody coming back to the game with the focus on trying the guns, using the guns. So you might as well have skins available for those very same guns that everyone wants to use. So that is a very sensible marketing choice, if you ask me, from a psychology point of view.
And it's a perfectly reasonable time to try and see if they want to continue it. Especially now that I see this looks very nicely with the black gold. That looks very nice.
Well, it's especially interesting considering that lapse of time. Like the Kevlar got passed up, and then we had passed up. It wasn't accepted, right, during that the time when it was introduced, and it was well before black gold clothing was even on the workshop. So there was no awareness that it would pair well with a set or anything. But the black gold hoodie and pants came out, I think the first week of July. The combat update where the AK showed up was a month earlier, the first week of June. Interestingly, after the AK was created and before getting accepted, there was also a combat knife created, which was passed over as well.
That's it. That's the weapon skin. We haven't had a combat knife skin in forever. Yeah, that's it. We haven't had a knife skin accepted. I think it was until. So when they first released, when they first released the combat knife skins, right? I believe it was a good few months after that was the last one, and then we haven't had any ever since. And yes, there was a sapphire combat knife. It was Trainwreck's one. That was it.
Spoon Kid one.
And the Spoon Kid one. Yep, that's Spoon Kid one. Yes. But
Trainwrecks. Who's Trainwrecks? We care about Spoon Kid, man. Yeah, that's who we care about.
I just remember because it's a blue sapphire. But anyway, one thing
Trainwrecks is that guy that got smoked by Sir Winter and threw a hissy fit.
Let's not go into that.
And then gambled like $1 million or something like that. But
he's very good at gambling.
Yes, he is.
Indeed, he is.
No shade against Trey. I'm just having a laugh here.
Come on.
Making a joke.
But
much love to everyone.
Mr. Meta pointed out that MP5 skins have not fared well ever since the recoil update. Could you elaborate on that? Thompsons have maintained their value, and it seems they're still being used quite a lot. But have MP5s lost their spot as one of the top two or three weapons to use in the game?
MP5 is ass now.
Oh my! Is there any more word to that?
If you ask the average MP5 beamer from before the update, then it is quite much, very much ass.
Is it because
it's because of the way they've implemented this gradual aim cone spread that I would say that it repositions the MP5 as a close range weapon now. It's still very effective. It's just lost that ability to spray from a long range.
But Thompson hasn't.
I mean, Thompson is also suffering from that.
But it's just more loved compared to the MP5. It's the loved child. One of them had to go, and it was the MP5.
I think it's just been rebalanced, yeah, to put the MP5 at a little more close range. The Tommy is still fairly effective at longer range, but it's not, it still did receive those same tweaks in terms of the graduated aim cone and all that.
I guess it's like a common word, because I wouldn't say common knowledge, but common word, where it just takes one very loud person to say, "Oh, the MP5's arse now," and then everybody just says it, and they don't bother to use it anymore. But the Thompson,
it's true though. If you try to use the MP5 the way you used to use it, it doesn't work. It doesn't. You can't. It's just no good in that way. It's still effective close up. It just doesn't have that same reach out and spray the way it did.
So, shall we move on from that? And Andre, I've just read what you said. Sorry about that, bud. We were talking. What you saw in the what you saw here. Let me just go out of this. I had to quickly show it to all of him. You see these pictures and how some of them might come across as a bit weird, Andre? Let me just show you. There's a better one to show this off. See that? This picture. So if you can just quickly elaborate, Mr. Micro. Some of these pictures for the weapons, the skins that we have, they don't come in very clear. They don't look like they're meant to be in the game. They are kind of out of place. Is there an explanation for that?
Absolutely. So the way it works when you upload an item to the workshop by default is Rust, the game client, creates a thumbnail that looks like the default icon with the skin applied. And what you can do when you upload a skin, as a workshopper, when you upload this stuff, normally the game takes care of that stuff. But if you so choose, you can use a third-party tool created by a friend of ours. His name is Lovo. And he wrote a very nice software program to assist creators with updating thumbnails. And what you can do along with updating your thumbnail is update this icon too. So workshoppers will create their own thumbnail and icon and use that in place of the default image. That way it looks cooler on the workshop. And so when the item gets accepted, until the item gets accepted, the game will use that icon as you're seeing there, like for the Iron Wolf AK and for the medic clothing. That's what's going to be used until it gets formally accepted. And then the game will generate, I don't know if Face Punch does it manually or if it's something to do with when they push the asset over to accepted work, but they'll regenerate that thumbnail and it'll fall into like the uniform thumbnails that we're familiar with seeing. But an interesting thing happened last week, I believe, in that the thumbnails didn't update right away. So for the first hour or two that you were able to purchase things off the market, they were showing these odd thumbnails.
I've got it on my video last week when I was doing the Rust rotation. For the first hour, none of the pictures worked. Not even on SCMM either. Right. SCMM could even track it.
That was related. That was 100% the same exact issue. The updated default thumbnail patterns hadn't been generated, so it was still using all of the workshop artist created thumbnails, and it was breaking their website code and stuff like that. So
right,
that was tied together. Yep.
So hopefully that helps you, Andre, with your curiosity. Sometimes when we load in some of these workshop skins that are potentially going to be seen in the future, they aren't using the proper thumbnail system because it hasn't properly been implemented yet. Micro, is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, it's like there's an action that occurs once skin gets accepted and it converts the workshopper provided thumbnail to like the game default thumbnail. So that action takes place once the acceptance occurs.
So
I don't have better language. I could probably make like a nice little sentence but I'd have to give that some thought.
I think you've elaborated it perfectly fine.
Probably enough for anybody watching, anybody who cares. You
So,
can DM me, I'll explain it further.
Do you have any more weapons to show off, Mr. Micro? Anything inconvenient to hold into your hands?
I have the #1 weapon in Rust for every hardcore beach player.
A cactus? Well, that's all prickly and that could hurt someone, Micro. Are you sure that's a good idea? It's got a... Oh, yeah. Nope.
You're not standing there. I was going to pivot and throw it at you, but that was the camera. Your player avatar.
Alright, so, oh, no, you don't. Stop it. Trying to look at it. So, yes, it is quite literally a cactus, part of the cactus set. I don't think we've had anything quite recent from the cactus set that's been on a Rust store. Was it the tools that was the last thing?
Tools, I think.
Yeah, we're definitely going way back for that. He's a newer creator, isn't he? The guy that made this. I'm not sure if he's had anything else accepted since then.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's summer themed. It's hot. Maybe we should see some more summer themed skins. We did show off the cactus furnace last week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving it a shot, seeing if it can get accepted. But I don't blame him for trying to get a rock skin in, because we haven't had a rock skin in ever since February. We used to get rock skins quite regularly. Now we don't. I don't know what's going on. So, sorry, that was just a cough, not like any joke.
So this is V2, by the way.
Is it? When was the first one added? Do you know?
Yeah, the first one was introduced to the workshop back in March. There was no... I'll be honest, it looked pretty similar. It didn't have the flowers, I think. And it didn't have, like, some of the finer textures, like the little dimples. It still had the spines and some of the shading. But, it didn't have the flowers were, like, the biggest thing that would set it apart.
Is that everything that you want to show off that's in the pipeline as a weapon or tool, good sir?
Yes. I have, in fact, only one more item I can show you from the platform here, and that's the Berserker boots.
Ah, yes.
Quickly put those on.
We have eloquent-looking Berserker boots. Ooh. Looks like dragon skin or something.
Scales, yeah.
Scaly. Yeah.
So this is one, I think the Berserker set has already pretty well established itself in terms of like an equilibrium on the market. Like supply and demand are basically about, leveled out. So we're not seeing any big swings in Berserker stuff going forward, probably. Unless like Berserker movie comes out or something based on the anime, or maybe a YouTuber shows off the set, or I don't know what would really change things too much, but having the boots available to round out the set means that at least you could deck yourself head to toe in Berserker gear and have like a fully unified theme to your fit.
What's the song on humming? Ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Ba-da-dum bum ba-dum. Ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Ba-dum bum bum ba-dum. You don't know the song, do you?
Chat, what song is that?
Ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Ba-da-dum bum ba-dum. Ba-da-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Ba-da-dum bum bum. No, that's not tequila. Ah. New shoes! Ah, come on. Seriously. These kids. Anyway, Mr. Micro, thank you for being an ever so lovely... put your pants back on.
Foot model? Yeah.
Yes, model.
We need to have a foot segment. Sorry.
Are you wearing a Speedo?
Yeah. We're out in the desert, man.
Okay.
Working on my tan. All this, wearing this armor gives me weird tan lines all the time.
So, we didn't actually finish off showing all of the skins from the current week, did we? But I did want to kind of leave this for last because I knew this was going to kind of become a talking point. So if we just walk over here, Mr. Micro, we do have the graffiti storages, don't we? So let's just make this...
Yeah. We totally skipped on one of the accepted skins for this week.
No, I'm fine because this is definitely quite a big talking point because we're definitely going to be walking around. Where are you? Oh, he's over there. Okay, he's hiding over there. So I'll get to talking. Scrap storage was actually the very first storage that was made for this whole set. This was made back in mid-May, May 9, May 12. I can't remember. I think it was made put on May 9. It was updated on May 12. And we kind of thought this probably wasn't going to be accepted anytime soon because basically it's been 2.5 months it's been on the Rust workshop for, almost 2.5 months. And we thought, oh, is it because it doesn't have like an interesting design on its sides? I mean, we could kind of sit here and say this was the draft, this was the prototype. The creator of it, Mr. Loddy, he put this out, and then he made, what was the second one? Sulfur, and then Metal Frags. Well, we ended up getting Sulfur at first, and then Metal Frags, and every time we got a new skin, it wasn't scrap. So we just rolled with the assumption that this was never going to be accepted. Lo and behold, randomly this week, we've now got scrap storage. So, yay! It's just very randomly appearing in front of us. Now, here's one of my hypotheses. Quite recently, the creator of this skin set has kind of, I wouldn't say rushing them out, but one day we had the armor storage out, then 3 days later we had the med storage out, and then another 3 or 4 days later we had the clothes storage out. So I get the idea that he might have been rushing to try and get these all through in time, just to be, keep the flow. And I get the feeling
it was a holiday. There was a holiday in Turkey 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. That sort of interrupted his release schedule a little bit.
So basically, I'm under the impression that Face Punch must have been wiser to the situation, and they thought maybe we could give this guy a bit of a break. Well, hang on a minute. We've got the scrap storage that we never accepted. Let's just accept it now. So now, Mr. Loddy has about 2 or 3 weeks worth of space to figure out how he's going to design the next ones with his co-creators, and then get them all made. Because the meds, looking perfectly fine. I was expecting the meds to come out this week, but no, scrap. But, I'm not going to hate on it. I fully expect the meds to be accepted regardless, the next Rustore rotation. Or they could change their mind and say, you know what, let's go with clothes. So we've already seen meds, haven't we? But now let's take a real good look at the clothes set. Because I get the feeling a lot of people probably won't like the colour scheme. Orange and yellow with purple. But you know what? I think it stands out quite a lot. And we're definitely going to have to go through a whole bunch of different colour schemes with every single individual one. Because they have to stand out in their own different way. For example, Scrap. Scrap was just red, orange and brown. I mean, not the best of colour combination I could imagine, but one of them's had to have it. And, we looked at the armor storage last week and we thought, you know what, it doesn't really stand out as amazingly as all the other ones. We can say that as our opinion. But based on the design on the sides of it, with all the metal like drilled in and whatnot, that looked cool. And you know what, we got a little bit of that on all of these with like the nice extra patterns and whatnot. But we don't have as much as we did with that armor set. But the armor set wasn't super brightly colourful, was it? But it had that extra nice bit of detail. So I do like that some of the things have had that, but we're not seeing it on these two. But again, with these two, it's probably going to come down with colour scheme. And the bright green looks very nice, very eye-catching. This, again, very eye-catching, but probably 50-50 on who likes it. I can understand if you don't like it because, well, yellow is the opposite of purple. Is that the correct thing to say in terms of colour schemes? Your leg is...
They're complementary colours.
Complementary colours. I know, like, orange and blue is used quite a lot for posters and whatnot because it's very... it does something to your eyes. I'm remembering my university classes with presentation. That's a whole nother talk about colour theory and lighting and all that. But regardless, with this, I can see many people looking around that whole thing, and they all want this. Clothes is one of the most in-demand boxes I was expecting. Guns, armor, Dropbox, clothing. Now, because armor wasn't super colourful, and this being a whole lot more colourful, I feel like this might steal its thunder from armor. I feel like people might just throw their armor in with the clothing box, because what we have to remember, Mr. Micro, is not everybody can afford. Your leg is broken. It keeps being. You're having a bit of a fidget, sir. Do you have restless leg syndrome?
Yes. That's exactly what it is. Restless leg syndrome.
Yeah. He likes to hover his leg whilst he sits down. Anyway, not everybody can afford every single box from this box set. Some people can. You know, there's a lot of people complaining that, I want to own all of Neon Storage. Damn it, why is Neon Storage so expensive? Well, it came out a year ago, and it's already fully established. And it has all of that investment in it with all the buy orders and whatnot. One person was having a moan, I can't remember who it was, I think it was on Reddit, and they were saying, like, why can't Face Punch just re-release it in a bundle? And I was actually on Duck's server, and he found it really funny. You're on his server as well, aren't you? Yeah. He was having a bit of a talk about that, and I don't think they're going to release it as a DLC bundle. But you know what? We have Graffiti now nice and available to us. And there is something else I want to point out. So Graffiti is currently on its 10th box. On average, compared to the likes of Scientific Storage and Neon Storage, they ended at 17 and 18. 17 and 18 individual boxes. We are on number 10 with Graffiti Storages now. We have to, well, and you know what? I've probably got 11 and 12 right here. We have to accept that Graffiti Storage is probably going to be finishing soon. And I feel the very second that happens, people are probably going to start buying them out. Because now we know that the full set is there, the full collection is complete. People are going to see the collector's idealism with it. Because when you look at Neon Storage, at the time, they were all around $2 to $3 because, you know, that's what they were at the time. But as time went on, look at the prices of the whole Neon Storage set now. They are a lot more expensive because they're a complete set, a well-known set. And when you compare this with Neon Storage, I'll be honest with you, this is a whole lot more creative, a whole lot more in your face. Lodi, you've done a very good job with this. You and your co-creators, it's been a very fun set. It's definitely brought out a whole bit of creativity with bases indoors and whatnot. And all for the lovely price of $2.49. Well, each. So I imagine this is going to be a well-liked set as time goes on. And it's definitely going to have its place in many, many bases in the future. Mr. Micro, take the time. Say what you want to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say that I love this set. I think it's awesome. I think you guys that are criticizing, you know, individual boxes that, you know, over the color scheme or the design are out of your minds. I think they're all unique and have their own little flavor and spin. And I think their individuality is what makes this set so awesome. That, you know, graffiti is something that's inherently unique. You know, it's like something you see spray paint on the side of a train or under a bridge. It's like every one of those is a one-off. You know, so it has that same spirit to it. And I wanted to chime in when we're analyzing what the future might look like for this set. You know, you mentioned how many items are in the Scientific and the Neon set. We should also just quickly mention that there are 13 items in the X-Point set also.
So X-Point was like here's the thing. X-Point was one of the first sets to actually get writing on storages. It used to be a rule or a guidance that they didn't want any language or wording on storages, correct?
Not if the meaning of the box wasn't otherwise clear without the writing. So the writing shouldn't be what defines like what's inside the box. If you can tell what the box is for without having words, well, then you can have the words. It's just you can't rely on the words to convey the meaning.
Okay, so what I also wanted to point out was X-Point didn't have actual writing on the boxes, did they? I can't remember now. No.
There was some.
It was imagery,
but it was it really relied mostly on the stylized like silhouette image or like little graphic
And then
icon, if you will.
Neon Storage upwards, glow in the dark. And then Face Punch was like, yeah, okay. And then it all just flourished.
Yep.
And then we had many people wanting to make the next box set, because that became a thing. Because after that we had supply storage, which didn't really take off that well. There was a point in time where we were having supply storages coming out at the same time as neon storages, and they were both sold at $2.49. Now, supply storage, its design, very creative. It's like a supply drop. It was all wrapped up. It did have a bit of writing on it, but most of them were just full green with a little bit of change of the colour at the front, and it was just writing. It didn't glow in the dark, and it came out at the same time as Neon Storage. Neon Storage had a whole lot of love. Everybody... Oh, here you go. He's got some X point out. Cool. Yeah. Alright. So that is how things used to be. You weren't allowed words. We could only use pictures in Rust. Ugh. So, yeah, this is how Face Punch was okay with back then. But then we just moved on to words, and yeah, I mean, who's complaining about this? You know, if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. But this, everybody's got their own preferences. You know, the X Point was beloved when it first came out, had a lot of investment towards it, but then Neon Storage happened, and then everybody just kind of changed their tune, and everyone was like, yeah, Neon Storage. And
there's also some consistency, and this isn't a hard and fast rule, right? But if you were to compare boxes from different sets, you would see that there's actually some overlap in terms of colors. So, like, of course, the med box is always green. The weapon box for many of the sets is red. Not many, I shouldn't say many, but yeah, there's some consistency. Like sulfur is yellow. Stone is white. Frags are like silver or blue. So there are some common themes here. Like these guys sort of have integrated a colors, or what am I trying to say? Like they've almost independently established like this color
scheme,
like
pattern?
indicator. Like yeah, like the closed storage here. This box is purple. Well, what do you know? This closed storage box is purple. Huh? Right?
You never brought that up to me. I'm impressed.
Well, you never asked. We don't sit and talk regularly about this kind of stuff, you know. But
Micro, I can't spend all my day talking about boxes. I'll go insane.
I could.
Come on, kids. Let's go to the box factory. No, I get it. I like that. It's not like. Nothing's written down about this. People just took note and then followed with. That's interesting. Alright, that's cool. But do you know what I was rolling into? So we talked about copycats. So whilst Neon Storage was in full like just rolling out all of the boxes, so there's a bit of a thing that happens, and it's kind of obvious from what you see. When you are the creator that has the storage set, the new storage collection, it kind of looks like you're going to get at least 15 skins consecutively over the course of the next 4 months. And lots of people definitely want to have that opportunity. It's basically super easy, straight to the point money, isn't it? If it takes off and people really like your set, then you're going to be making a whole lot of sales and you're going to make a whole lot of profit. On average, the Neon Storage is sold at around 40,000 sales on average. The early ones, not so much. It took a while for people to realise what was going on, to realise Neon Storage was going to be a fully fledged, complete set of about 20 or so. It ended up at 18, Cloves being one of the last ones. Very straight to the point. I don't want to say simple, but from what we've seen recently, it's definitely kind of simple now. I mean, look at Cloves then. Look at Cloves now. What do you reckon? Huh? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? But you know what? A lot of people like simplicity. And this is going to be getting quite a lot of favourable opinions based on that over there. because people prefer simplistic and straight to the point simplicity. But Mr. Micro, as I was saying, a lot of people... yes, it's purple. It's purple. But what I was saying was a lot of people, a lot of creators are vying for that spot to be the next creator to get that next storage set collection. And we've been noticing some other people trying to go for it.
It's like they're camping outside Best Buy waiting in line for the release of the new iPhone next week. And they're all holding their spot in line trying to be the first one.
But the point I was saying was, and this is more to you creators out there, this set's only halfway. You're about 2 months early, maybe a month early. So it doesn't hurt to get your prototypes out and see people's opinions. Maybe Facepunch might notice as well. But we're still we got another 8 weeks left of more of these graffiti storages. I'm expecting at least 18. Could be 17. It could be 15. I'm not in charge. I'm not Facepunch, but I'm expecting around maybe about 15. There is a oh, there he is. I was wondering what the shadow was. So, sorry, I'm easily distracted by the airplane. Ooh. So yeah. Yes, Micro, wave to it. He won't hurt us that way. Much like that devilish patrol helicopter earlier. But yes, creators, I think, are a little bit early. And let's go look at these new potential box skins, the storage collection. So just for extra reference, we also have scientific storage. Yep. Now, at first glance, you might think these are exactly the same as neon storages, but we will talk about that. There is something that we want to point out that makes these a little bit more special. So, Mr. Micro, we have 3 storage sets that have appeared quite recently on the workshop. We have carvable wood, we have transparent AF, and we also have... I've forgotten it. Oh dear. Uh-oh. Micro, do you remember the name of this one?
No.
I'm sorry, Robstar. I remember who made it. I'm sorry, Robstar. I remember your name, but I keep forgetting the thing. Can you quickly find out the name of this box set?
I am all over it. Trust me.
Thank you.
Real fast.
So, Carvable Pumpkin. This appeared this Monday. It does glow in the dark, as you can see. It's kind of like scientific storage, where, as you can see, it's got the lighting all on the sides there. It's a bit simplistic compared to what we're about to show you, because, as you can see... Oh, I fell off. Oh, dear. I knew that was going to happen. I can't see. We've got no light bulbs. Alright, so, yes. It does appear simplistic when you compare it to transparent AF. Because there's an extra special thing about this. An extra bit of creativity. Do you see it? Do you notice it? It's right in front of you. It has, quite literally, all of the bits that it holds inside it. What I'm trying to say is with the components, I can see all the nuts and the bolts and the gears all inside it. This is a very clever, very creative idea. It's really, really cool. And you were saying that they must have used a physics engine to figure out where to position all of these.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all of the nuts and bolts and components there, and you've got all of the ammo pieces all along the sides there. An extra bit of touch at the end of it for that creativity to just make it stand out and be an extra bit special. I like this. You've done a very good job here, Mr. Creator, who I can't remember who made this.
I think this is Cirque or
Cirque.
Cirque. I'm not sure how he pronounces that.
Cirque. Maybe he'll see the video and tell us. But, buddy, you've done a very good job here. You've added that extra bit of creativity where I would approve of this, and I would happily see this in a Rustle rotation. But the problem is, it is too early. We are still only just past halfway for the graffiti set, and you don't want to be in a position where you end up like the supply containers, because supply containers didn't get that much love. Neon Storage hogged up all of the limelight, and yet Neon Storage flourished and went up very high in price, and supply containers did not. So as like a draft, a minimum viable product, a showcase to Facepunch, Perfectly fine. I can see what you're planning to do with this. I really want to see what you're going to do with food, with the weapons, with the tools. Could you imagine all the things that we can see? Transparency. Ooh. I'm having fun with it. But I like it. I like what potentially can be made. I'm eager to see what you can do. That's what I like about this. That's how I can look at this and like it a little bit more than the likes of the carved wood. But the beauty of it is, all these creators have they have so much time. They can easily come back to this. This could just be version 1. He could come back to it. It's just a prototype. No, come back. We'll improve it. We'll make it have scorched flames coming out of it. No, I'm just joking. But like, you could easily improve it. Like, I guess this guy had no idea this was out already. And he probably had no idea this was also out. So over here, created by Mr. Robstar, what is the set called, good sir, Mr. Micro?
This is a display case, or display box.
Display box. Thank you very much, Mr. Micro. And if we look at it in the dark, as we can see, it's all nice and electronic. All the buttons are here. You have to put in the special code to open the box. Ooh, lovely. I like that. Very creative idea. But the one thing that we're a little bit worried about with this set is what we see in the future. Because from what we see here, Robstar has actually made all of the other boxes and he's put them all out nice and displayed on a picture. He's got it all nice and figured out. But the problem is it looks very much copy and paste. What do I mean? Well, from what you see on that picture, they're using all of the same button scheme and whatnot. All that's changed is the colour scheme and the pictures that you see here in the dark. So armour. And when I'm looking at the likes of Transparent, where they've got that extra creative detail on it, buddy, that's what makes the difference. I love what I see here, but I'm just going to be expecting a different 2 pictures every single week. Do you see what I mean? Like, so this is where we move on to Scientific, so back to over here. A lot of people like Scientific, a lot of people didn't care that much to it. But when we look at the likes of Neon Storages, right? Neon Storage was just a different picture, a different name, and a different light. Different colour light, as you can see. Cloves, purple. Are you trying to put another one down, Mr. Micro?
No, I was actually going to, when you were done, I was going to pick this up and bring it over here so we don't have to walk as far.
Oh, you can pick it up now. But when we look at the likes of Scientific, they added an extra little bit of touch of creativity to all of them. So like I said, it was just a different picture, different name, different colour. But for this, it did have a different colour, it did have a different picture, and it did have a different name. But they did, for all of them, add like an extra different formula, a little different picture here, a little picture to showcase what it's for, electrical, as you can see, the sound waves, the electric waves, some more formula. To the sides, there's also some extra things that could be seen. So there's an extra bit of creativity to make it an individual, make it unique compared to all of the other ones. And that is where this one falls a little bit flat. But you know what I said in regards to the carved wood? There's still loads of time. All 3 of you, you've done it too quickly. You've put them out too early. You still have time. Go back. Make a new version, you know. Make something that makes each individual one an extra bit special, an extra bit individual. That's what we want to see. That's what Rust players want to see. Yes, quite a lot of them will probably only look at these based on colour indication, but for that extra little bit that you can make this stand out compared to all of the other ones, that's what makes the difference. Yes, point, Micro, point. And
pressing all the buttons.
And we see that. We do see that with graffiti. Different. You know what? Do you remember with the armor storage last week? It was very kind of flat, wasn't it? It was an individual in its own right because it was a more flat, blocky type of text. Sorry, I've accidentally moved that. When I look at all of these, they do have a different colour scheme, but they are all written out ever so slightly differently. You know, this isn't done like computer generated. He hasn't used like a program. It's all different in its own way. Be it with this, do you see how it doesn't really have... we always consider this to be the prototype. It doesn't have like the highlighting around the text and whatnot. Every other one has highlighting around the text. But what we see here, the extra special bit, is it has like these nails either hammered in or drilled in or whatnot. Like he made it an extra bit special. The way he stylized the armor text is an individual way. Look at this over here. It's not the same. It's meant to be shined up and bright like armor would. So, yeah, there's a little bit of individuality with some of these boxes. And that's what makes them stand out. That's what makes them an extra little bit special. And I have just sat here and talked about boxes for about 20 minutes. What am I doing with my life? What have you done to me?
Right. I don't know if this is the right term, but would you maybe call that like sort of like a gothic styling to it in a way?
Oh,
like,
I've just clicked the wrong thing.
When I think of a suit of armor, I think of, old school, the suit of armor is like a really old technology, and I think of old like castles and old like medieval sort of thing, and I get that same vibe from the theme of the armor box. I don't really know if gothic is the right term, but that's what comes to my mind, sort of castle-esque or something. And I don't know how, I think he captured that with the font and with the little hardware detailing and stuff.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I accidentally thought I just crashed my game. People just looked at me right now, and they just saw me like being in a state of shock for about 20-30 seconds there, worrying about whether or not I just accidentally broke my game. I accidentally tabbed out of it, and I was trying to press the button. I accidentally pressed Alt for some reason. So, yep, you're correct. It's very standout-ish. It's very gothic in a way. It's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to be armor. It's meant to protect you. So,
well, Meta's in chat saying a different font was used for the armor box, as if all the rest of the boxes were the same font. These are all different. These are all different styles of graffiti.
Yeah.
Graffiti has a lot of nuance to their various lettering types.
Look at Scrap. It's like all squished up balloons. Look at Cloves. It's not so much. It's got all that patchworkness on it as well. Look at Meds. It's got all those band-aids and, I call them plasters. But yeah, it's got that extra special piece to it that makes it special. So yeah, as we said, go on.
I don't know a ton about graffiti as an art form, like in real life, but I can tell you there are some fanatics who really obsess about lettering. And I have a friend who's like a wild style tagger. That's like basically a font or a style of tagging is wild style. Then you've got like more stencil type stuff, and like you use the word like bubble letters, like all of these like stylistic representations of graffiti are all pretty accurate to real world variations between lettering styles. He's got did little patchwork details on here. Like each and every one of these is unique and distinct and different. And this armor font is also unique. And I think it actually is in the theme of the set, in that each one of these has slightly different lettering, slightly different font. So
I think we've got the point across now.
I think I fully agree with you that it's a different set, but it does match, because it's just like all of the rest of these. It's just a slight tweak, a variation on lettering. They all have their own. So I'll shut up now. I'm rambling.
No.
You're rubbing off on me, Hedge. I'm starting to get the rambles. You got to pull the plug on me when I do that.
No, it's fine. Every point you made was correct. Like, people are going to have their preferences. I say that so much, but like, there's no right way. There's no wrong way. It's going to be different taste, a different preference. And I did worry about it, but I do like the style of the armor storage. We will see what happens. But we can ramble about these all day. Remember, what I just want to point out is, when you look at the scrap storage, it doesn't actually have anything particularly special about it with its font. Because again, we consider that to be more like the prototype. Maybe it's got that recycle thing there as maybe no plus 1000. Yeah, we can't really distinguish that one. But because it doesn't have any, maybe that's the special thing about it. It doesn't have any. You'd have to go through all of them and look at all of every single different font and see if you can see anything extra special about it. Because we just looking at that, I found out that it had the patchwork on the font over here. It's all stitched up and band-aids and whatnot. There's something new to when you look at it. And yes, we are going to go crazy rambling about boxes. I can see your head shaking. You're losing your mind. What are we doing with ourselves? All right, let's go look at furnaces. Furnaces are cool. Let's go burn stuff.
Fire.
So we have a zucchini furnace. Why do people like vegetables so much all of a sudden? We've had an what was it? Cucumber Ioka earlier this year. We've had the carrot double barrel shotgun this year, was it?
With the banana rocket launcher?
Bananas are fruit. Don't start this. You're going to say tomatoes are a vegetable soon, aren't you?
I mean, you're really going to say that doesn't count when you're going down the list of foods?
Let's
strictly veggies.
What about sand? Is sand part of your diet?
Does
Do you like
count?
Cactus? We did show for cactus last week. Yes, we did point that out.
It's a plant that grows in the ground.
So how about we turn both of these on and see if there's anything that makes them stand out? I don't think so. So, wow. Let's make it dusk or dawn. Nothing standout-ish. But I'll make it nighttime and, they don't necessarily glow, but, the plant leaf. That's nice. And this has all of these dots. I'm not sure what a sand castle with dots implies. It's probably secretly an alien. I don't know. But I like it.
You keep talking about that. I have to try something that I better do this just to be sure. And then what I'm saying, I was saying I should let you talk. I'm going to just tell you what I'm doing here. There's a bug with, I don't know if it's Steam or I don't know if it's Rust or if it's this plugin or what, but I've seen it actually happen to TGG before in his videos where he'll spawn in a furnace because it's on the workshop, but it doesn't have the right appearance. Something about the emission doesn't load in properly, and you actually need to spawn in like 10 different furnaces for it to properly register.
You just like zucchinis.
No, trust me, I do like zucchinis, but that's not why I just spawned 10 of these.
Right, you find the right one. I just want to point out, I've just realised the sandcastle one has a red interior. Ooh. But if you've seen my video where we talk about furnaces and lighting and whatnot, just know this isn't glow in the dark. It's just emitting a different lighting, a lighting texture or something. I can't remember. My brain's all frazzled from talking about boxes. But yeah, this isn't a special glow in the dark. It's just emitting a different texture. All furnaces always give off the same colour light. Always orange. It's never a different one. Yes, even the ones with the different types of interior colours, they aren't giving off a different lighting colour. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, these are working. Sometimes you get a funky glow. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that this was doing the right color glow. That's all. It looks like it is. Sorry for that last minute uncertainty there. I can guess myself.
It's interesting.
It just occurred to me. Yeah, I think this is correct.
So this is the correct version?
I believe so.
Can you elaborate what was different?
So sometimes when you spawn in furnaces that have custom glow, what happens is the blue channel doesn't properly glow. So you'll end up with this really drab looking, like reddish orange glow that doesn't properly represent the item. So I have some screenshots I could share with you of this phenomena happening where you just you get something that you can deploy. Like I've put these down and lit them, but they would be showing the wrong color. So
if you want to grab that
like 10 times, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'll look at that. That definitely sounds something that's worth showing off. But I'll probably save it towards the end when I close Rust, because when I tab out, it might die.
I see. Yep.
I don't want to panic again. So yeah, that could happen. But yeah, okay. So I never would have known that. Is this something?
It's a very obscure bug that, yeah.
Is this something that can happen in normal Rust?
No, I don't believe so. I think it just has to do with the I believe it has to do with this plugin. I to be honest with you, I don't know what the cause is, but I have just now DM'd you a picture of the phenomenon occurring.
Okay.
And I don't know how a picture will explain it way better than I could just with words.
Yep. So. Right, that's fine. So I guess I'll take the risk. I'll tab out and try and grab it. Try and have a look at it.
Okay.
So, oh look, it's my chat. It's my server. Do you know what? Whether you're in my Twitch right now, hello Twitch people, or whether you're a viewer on my YouTube, I'll put in my description that I have a server. I also have a link to my Twitch as well, so come watch. But I just need to quickly go and see what Mr... Ah, damn it. I need to quickly go grab and see what Mr. Micro was talking about. So he has 2 images. No. Oh.
No, should be
Oh,
just...
wow. That's really straight to the point. Okay. So that's meant to give off a pink, but sometimes it doesn't work, and it gives off just the usual orange.
Yep.
I never knew about this. That's weird.
It's
How long?
not something that most players would run into. As far as I know, that's limited to happening with this specific plugin on items that haven't yet been brought into the game. So I don't know if something Facebunch has to do manually to fix it, but usually like the first couple you spawn in will give funky colors, and then like after you do about 10 or so, you get like the proper colors. And I do screenshots for workshoppers sometimes, and I've personally run into this and been really panicking over the fact that they weren't showing up properly, and until we figured out what was going on, and now we just deal with it because it's a known phenomenon. But I forgot to check these 2 furnaces when I spawned them in for the stream today. So
I need a big stick and bonk you on the head with
wanted
it.
to make sure that we were accurately representing the items here.
Right, well, we have a door left to show off, don't we? Right here. So this is actually a yes, point. This is actually a continuation from the garage door skin that we had not too long ago. We actually have it right here. And this was weird, wasn't it? We talked about this. Yes, point. This doesn't look like it folds at all, does it? And that was a whole thing. It sold surprisingly well, very well. I don't think it's holding up as an investment at the moment. I don't think it's maintaining its price. But for the amount of sales that this garage door got, you know what? Thumbs up. Congratulations there, bud. But what we have over here is a sequel. We have armored door skins. So one of them is the interior, or one of them is the exterior, indoors and outdoors. But each of them represents a theme, don't they?
Thrive and survive. Well, I guess it's survive and thrive, depending on how you progress through the wipe. But yeah, one is showing the primitive man here with his early game kit, and the other side is the late game, I guess you could say.
He is the complete raider. He is going to hunt you down.
He's thriving.
Yes.
And the other guy is merely surviving.
I am a bit worried about it though. Like I said, in regards to the hell door that we just showed off last week, this year we've had far too many armored door skins, and that's a worry. That is a problem. Even though the in hell armored door is weirdly actually up in price at the moment, it does look cool. I will give it that. But the buy-order build-up wasn't very strong in it. But so far, none of them have been selling that much. I mean, it hasn't got its full complete quantity out yet. Let's wait until Thursday to see what happens there. But with so many armored door skins coming out in just this year, they haven't been thriving very well. They have not been flourishing. It's been a problem where there's been far too many of them out, and they've all suffered, and they've all been bottlenecked by each other. So there's been quite a lot of door skins that have come out this year where they have gone down by about 30-40% of their value. Will this be able to hold up? I like this. I like the theme of it. I like the design, but I can't 100% be sure if it's going to be accepted. I think we've been getting a lot. We have been getting a lot of wooden door skins recently, which is also strange to me. Sheet metal door skins. Where are they? Where are the double sheet metal door skins? Where are the double armored door skins? Come on! We need more of them. We haven't had... See, we had the Toxic Dragon double doors, the sheet metal double doors, but we haven't got them yet. And I don't think we can get them now. I think that time frame, I think we're past it now, but it's weird how some things get neglected a lot in a year, but something gets a lot of hyper focus on it, and then it suffers because of it as well. Where's the double door skins at? Face Punch. Where are they? But I would have preferred double doors. If he did a garage door, I would have said leave it for a while, do double doors or something. But because he's just put this out just as we've had another armored door skin, we could potentially see the armored double door skin, the armored door skin problem happen all over again. If we keep getting more and more armored door skins out at the same time or so close to each other, they could all bottleneck each other. They could all cause their prices to go down because of that. So just one thing to potentially worry about. I still like the design of it, but as the creator probably isn't aware of all that information. It's not his fault. It's just what's been happening so far. So
yeah. And it's such a cool and creative and like clever idea to have this the two like extremes of Rust experience here. You've got the tier 3 and you've got like the straight up like primitive guy. And to have them on opposite sides of the door is like a cool idea. And I love that he's done that. The armored door lets you put separate scenes on both sides. So he had the space to work with here. But just like you said, armored doors we've seen so many of lately. It would have been amazing to see these two scenes set up on separate halves of a double door, of a sheet metal double door. That would have been like so perfect. And there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. I'm not saying this was the wrong thing to do. I just think from a timing point of view, as you mentioned, we're pretty well. We've seen a lot of armored doors in past recent times, and not a lot of the double doors. So that would have been a better, maybe strategically, a better way to present the concept here, and maybe fit it into an item that would flourish on the market rather than suffer along with the rest of the armor stuff.
Again, he probably isn't aware. He probably doesn't know what the state of the skins are at the moment. I mean, I'd love. I've had a bunch of creators message me on my YouTube videos now, which is really cool. With what we talked about with the boxes over there, we are providing a good insight in regards to what the creators should be aware of as well. I mean, if you're going to put out a skin that people are worried about as an investment, you're not going to make that many sales. That's something you, the creator, should be worried about. Face Punch as well. You need to be you have to release things in moderation, I guess is the best way to do it. The armored door skins, they used to be a rare sight to see, but now I've seen so many of them in just a year that they've become less special. I'm trying to find another. Well, the double armored door skins, the double sheet metal door skins. We don't see many of them anymore, and now they've become more and more special because of it. With a lack of options, a lack of cheap options, because people are buying out all the cheaper ones from the double sheet metal doors, for instance, the prices of all of them have gone above their Rust door prices. I don't think there is a single double sheet metal door skin right now that is below its Rust door price. Hell, wooden double doors, we hardly see any of them. We did have that Fireflies one not too long ago. But yeah, it's the same situation, with a severe lack of skins being put out for it on the Rust doors. That's what makes them more special. So if you strategically release your skin for one of those at just the right time and it gets accepted, you're guaranteed to make a lot of sales, and you're guaranteed to have something that's going to be a great investment. So people are going to be looking forward to the collection a whole lot more. For instance, let's go look at the Outer Planets sleeping bag right about now. All of the deployables in the Outer Planet Outer Planet set have been doing very, very nicely recently. And the guy that's making this, he took the brave step and he tried to get a locker skin accepted. And it got accepted. And it sold very nicely. And a lot of people like it a lot. And it's actually above its Rustore price still now. It's been doing a very good job. So, every now and then, the creators need to just kind of look and see what's not been getting a whole lot of attention as of recent, and just put something out there for it. You know, what else could we say? What weapons haven't been getting a whole lot of skins recently? I did say to you, Micro, we haven't seen any tier 1 revolvers that much. We have not seen any tier 1 revolvers for quite some time. The last one that came out was about 3-4 months ago. Hell, we haven't had any rock skins for about 6 months. Where are the people? Where are the creators making these skins? I know there are some of you that are. And thank you very much. We do notice them. But, like, if you rely upon the same things every week, then they likely will suffer. There's a reason why AK-47 skins don't get bought out as much anymore. You used to see them sell for about 20 to 30,000 at some points, because they used to be very interesting, very cool. But we are oversaturated with AK-47 skins, and now they just aren't very good investments. So, anything else to talk about, Mr. Micro? Do you want to talk about boxes again? We love boxes.
Well, we could talk about feet.
No, let's not. Let's not. I don't know what prompted that. I like my toes. What prompted that? Come on. Ugh.
It's like the theme. We always find a way to talk about feet here.
No, I'm not trying to talk about feet. You just straight up said...
I thought you were the foot guy.
I'm not a foot guy. I don't... no, shut up. So, yep. Lots of things to be waited out. You've put me off now talking about feet. Anyway.
I got you.
I don't know what else can be said. We do know that with the likes of clothing, we do need to see some more sets starting off with it. Skullkiller was a very nice appearance. I'm very glad to have seen that. I expect next week we're very likely going to be seeing the Black Gold Tier 3. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it'll happen the week after. Do you remember when we were waiting for the copper set? We waited, and we waited, and we waited, but it finally came. It finally came. It came towards... Was it a late skin, I believe?
I think so.
It was supposed to come out...
3 was, yeah.
It was supposed to come out during the Recoil update week, and then the week after, where it would have been a typical skin, we had low poly hoodie and pants happen, and I wasn't happy about that. But then the week after, finally it came. So not everything is super straight to the point, straightforward. You know, we've had 2 weeks, a 2-week gap now of no Black Gold. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Black Gold Tier 3 next week. So don't worry about it too much. The anticipation is still there. The hope is still there. Some people might have sold some of their hoodies and pants already. Let them, because it doesn't matter. They will still spike up in price. Low poly spiked up in price. I'm sorry. I've got nothing against low poly. It's just not for me. But as you saw, the very second that Tier 3 appeared, it spiked up in price. It did a very, very nice job. So I'm glad to see that that's doing well. And you know what? There are people out there anticipating Tier 2 low poly. So there's some things to look forward to. But you, the creators, you need to start making moves. What are you going to do now? What's going to be next? Maybe avoid doing a black set. We've already had Dragon Rage and Black Gold this year. You know, it couldn't hurt to have another blue set. But then again, we've got Skullkiller at the moment. Why not make a red set? Why not make a pink set? We haven't had a pink set so far this year. Maybe white, maybe striped, like his shirt over there, Mr. Micro. There's a lot of options, but just try and avoid doing something that's already been done. Are you plotting something over there?
No. I was just going to put on the Black Gold stuff while we're standing around talking, because you were staring at me wearing my goofy striped shirt fit.
It looks very cool. I look forward to this eventually getting accepted, and I do look forward to the Tier 2 eventually getting accepted. I wonder how he's going to do the coffee can. Do you reckon he'll do something interesting, or extravagant, or just black matte straight to the point? What do you reckon?
I won't even dare to take a guess there.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
One thing I will say is I trust him to come up with something slick and thematic, and he definitely always spends a lot of time thinking about his execution, and putting a lot of thought into how everything fits together. And well, I expect nothing but good results if he decides to continue the pieces here.
There's a reason why he's had the most submissions, skin submissions, compared to everybody else. Bad T-rip. Bad trip. Sorry, I said it wrong. My apologies. Don't hunt me down. I'm sorry. So, yes, he's going to definitely look at it with strong focus to make sure everybody enjoys the work that he makes. Because with what we got here, I'm very satisfied with that, and I'm very happy to seeing how it progressed. Yeah, I think we've said everything we needed to have said. That is another week of the skin showcase. We can look at SCMM again. Micro, thank you for your help. Much appreciated. You've been a very kind help with all of your aspects and your words and your point of view. And you found some very interesting skins. You've done a good job so far because you've picked out the military AK last week and now we got it this week. I'm pretty sure we're going to see something else that you found today appearing in a Rust rotation next week. So I'm just going to quickly get out of here and I'm going to talk on about SCMM. I'm going to talk about what we can see here because hopefully it's fixed. Please update. Please show me some numbers. I need data. No! Right, Micro. Do you happen to have that? I remember you talking earlier. You might have some data. I think you can track this yourself, you said, potentially?
Yes, you sure can.
Do you have...
fact, I'll do two things. I'll explain that process. Not that it's all that in-depth. I'll guide you through it, at least, and you could show it.
Okay.
And I'll also contribute, I don't know if you want to call this a tip, but we've talked, and I think did a video on curation.
Yes.
I had a suggestion I wanted to offer to the chat here, to make use of some work that Mr. TGG does. I mean, he does a fantastic job. I'd like to show some respect to him for all of the hard work, many years of work that he's put into all that he's done. And we all look up to him and thank and respect him for all of that hard work. And what you can do as an interested person who's trying to stay informed of things. We've talked about tips for curating your own workshop, and that is to go and follow creators by looking at lists of accepted skins. One other tip that I could suggest for building out that personal curated list is to check out TGG's collections each week, where he includes all of the works from that meet this week's that meet the criteria to be accepted, that are part of this week's submissions. If you were to go and follow each of those authors, that would also expand your list and have a different approach to it. Rather than only relying on lists of accepted creators, this would be a way to follow all of the active creators, which would just give you a bit broader of a scope, a viewpoint of what stands to maybe be accepted. So if you were going to browse on your own time rather than consulting someone else's collection, you could start building out your list of followed authors, starting from a high density list here of good works. So making use of some work, like I said, that's been done by TGG. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your hard work. And just you're putting that to work for yourself a little bit. Now, once you have that list built up, it's there. You're following them. So you'll just see that stuff regularly every week. So there's that tip. And now let me segue into my other suggestion here for staying informed. And that is, in an instance where we're observing this behavior with SCMM, where it's having trouble staying up to date, My guess is this is some phenomenon going on with Steam right now, preventing you know, regular data collection. So we're only seeing snapshots on like longer time intervals here. In cases where this type of thing is happening, as a fallback, you can go to the workshop page for each of the items and inspect the subscriber count.
Where is the 11,438?
That's right.
Ah,
So the way this mechanic works is when you purchase an item from the Rust store, you become subscribed to the workshop item automatically. And for each person or each account that buys one or more of these items, that number will increment by 1. So if I bought 1, it would show 1. If you bought 3 more, it would show 2, because there's 2 of us, even though there was 4 sold. So this number does not reflect duplicate items sold. It's really reflecting unique people who purchased this.
right, because I was about to say, scrap storage has less than the
Right. So
Skullkiller face
SCMM
mask.
does a calculation. SCMM has some prediction built into its algorithm, so it has some insight into anyone whose account has multiple items in it. It can see there were duplicate items purchased. You know, SCMM can see that when it has visibility into your account, but it can't fully measure how many duplicates exist because that information isn't reported by Steam. So SCMM, or maybe I should attribute it to Bipolar Penguin, he's implemented some estimations into his data gathering, which sort of predict based on the popularity of the skin. If it sells a lot, stands to reason that there would be more duplicates sold. For items that had very low demand, probably not like investors making big stacks of items that nobody wants. So in cases with low demand, that extra padding is not it's not estimated to be as much. So there is some amount of understanding of how it works in terms of the data you see on SCMM being a prediction or like an estimation. So you can't rely on it as being a firm, hard number. It is estimated. And so you'll never see full one-to-one agreement between the workshop subscriber count and the SCMM count. I think SCMM is probably a better picture because of that estimation of those other factors. But if you were to compare the two, you'll see a bit of a difference. And interestingly, today, I believe, or at least when I checked towards the start of the stream, the number on SCMM was lower. It was under-reporting compared to the numbers shown on Steam. And almost always that number on SCMM is a little bit higher because that accounts for that estimated duplicate purchases. So
Yeah, so this is currently going for a bit of a problem. It's the first time I've seen this problem happening to this. I'm not sure how long you've been looking at SCMM for, Mr. Micro, but this is a first for me. It's a bit annoying because it's hard to compare the numbers. But as of now, from what I believe, I think scrap storage is still doing better than the face mask. I reckon after about 2 days we are at around 12,000 sales. So we haven't got that much momentum compared to the armor storage, and definitely not compared to the Dropbox storage. Dropbox had about 17,000 after 2 days. Armor had about 14,500. This is at around 12,000, the estimate. But what I am impressed with is these two. These two seem to have around 11 to 12,000 sales each. This definitely seems to be the one that's getting the most attention though. A lot of people definitely seem to be liking this face mask. I kind of don't blame them, and I did make a bit of a point. Kind of looks like the Punisher mask. Not exactly like the Punisher mask. Again, loads of people could make something, say something as simple as that, and it might sound like a bit of a buzzword. I'm kind of sorry to say that, but what I'm also not sorry to say is it looks really cool. It looks really cool. Horror me out. You've done a very good job, Mr. Just Mouse as well, I'm sure. But yeah, like. A lot of people probably are buying it because it kind of looks like that. and it's a very good job. From what I saw before, I don't have any footage or screenshots of what it used to look like, but it's definitely better looking, and they've done a very good job. And I look forward to the clothing, because clothing would be better right now. 100%. Clothing before Tier 2 would work out the best for it. So, how many sales is this going to end up at? If we're looking at around 12,000 at the moment, I reckon the safe bet would probably be between 17 to 20,000 would probably be the best bet. I just kind of hope it doesn't end up like Berserker. So at the moment, Skullkiller has actually caused the likes of the AK to jump back up in price. The weapons have a home. These two are suffering regardless, so they're probably not going to do alright. But the SAR has started to bounce up a bit. Thompson was always doing alright, but the AK... Someone jumped in and bought out all of the AK skins. You can see it right there. Someone walked in and bought out, like, how many AKs? We're talking probably about 50 of them. And for some strange reason, the cheapest one for a while was selling at about $20. But then, more people kept selling theirs, and more started to appear. So yeah, it's already started to have a bit of an influence. That awesome looking navy blue colour scheme is definitely going to be liked and used in various different gear setups and whatnot. So yes, it's looking good at the moment, guys. But like I said with Berserker, so Berserker started off with Tier 3 as well. But what happened with Berserker armour and clothing is the Berserker face mask and chest plate, well, they were oversaturated. But wait, hang on a minute. No, it was the first piece to come out. How could you reference it? How could you figure out it was oversaturated? Well, we couldn't. What actually happened was where these two sold for between 19 and 20,000 each. Well, the hoodie and the pants only sold at around 12,000, and then all of Tier 2 sold at around 10 to 12,000. Now, the main part for Tier 2 is always the road sign kilt, the pants, because the best setup is going to be Tier 3, road sign kilt, and then the hoodie and the pants. That's the best setup. So in theory, the absolute most complete sets of Berserker that can be out in this world, well, it would be 11,940, because this is the one with the lowest amount compared to this, and this. Make sense? So there's too many of these in excess. They are oversaturated in comparison to this lot. Sounds silly, isn't it? But how could we assume that this wouldn't have would have too many sales compared to all of the future ones? We had no idea. So I am a bit worried. That these two might sell too highly. It could be a problem. But if Skullkiller gets used a lot by YouTubers and streamers and you name it, then it will work out quite nicely. Remember, on Horizon next month in August, we are going to have that new Twitch Rivals event. And what do you reckon everybody's going to be wearing? What do you reckon all the skins are people going to be using? Maybe that will have an influence to their prices. I don't think it's going to be an offline TV sort of situation. It could be a light version of it. It could kickstart the summer hype. Maybe things could start straight up improving as of 2 weeks' time. So not next week, but the week after. I look forward to it. But yeah, you got to keep an eye out on these things. Do you know what? I'm going to go look at low poly as well, because I did mention low poly earlier. Low poly set is kind of in a bit of a pickle. So these two sold at $2.49, and they only sold 12,406, and these sold at just under 13,200. Whereas these two sold at around 16,000. These have too many in comparison to these. It's oversaturation by a couple thousand. So in the future, this could very likely suffer because too many of them start being sold, start appearing on the Steam market and whatnot, appearing on third-party sites. It could very easily devalue. It could very easily lose its value, lose its price. Something for you to keep an eye out for. There's always something to be cautious about. So let's just stay track on this week. I think these two are going to be fine. It's nothing to worry about now. They will still spike up in price when we see those hoodie and pants appear. So if you're thinking, are they going to be a good investment? I think we're in a very good position where Skullkiller will be getting some hoodie and pants soon. And when that happens, and when they appear, then these two will spike up in price. Then people realise, well, hang on a minute, we're going to have a whole collection of Skullkiller armour and clothing. Ooh, all the core parts people anticipate and people invest towards. So that's looking good. Outer Planet Sleeping Bag. If this sells for less than the Molten Visage, that's the wrong thing. If this sells less than the Molten Visage, newest, come on. I reckon this is actually going to be very profitable. I don't have the exact numbers now, but if Molten Visage sold for around almost the same price and had 25,000 sales, and Glows in the Dark as well, I'm thinking the Outer Planet Sleeping Bag, if it's very similar, I think we're going to see something very similar happening where it goes up in price. This is up by 28%. It's looking very nice at the moment. SAR, JPEG SAR, well, we can only really compare it with the JPEG Thompson, which had just over 19,000, and we must also compare it with all of the other SARs. And the one worry is it's probably not too flashy enough in comparison to all the other SARs that have come out quite recently. Maybe it will. It's part of a fun gimmicky set. We shall see. Keep an eye on the numbers. Compare it with compare it with all of these other ones. So if we end up at around 17,000 sales, you compare it with the likes of the Black Gold SAR. You compare it with the likes of the Tempered SAR, because they have very similar numbers. Their pricing was a bit higher, but yeah, we shall see. I mean, these are selling for $3 and those sold for $4, so it's not too far off. Actually, that sold for $5. Oh, I forgot about that, but that one sold for $4. We shall see. Okay. Military AK, you take one look at all of the recent AK-47 skins and yeah, so sorry Robstar, but yeah, down 40%, down 33%, down 39%, down 68%, down 21%, down 49%, down 29%, down 48%, down 43%, but Skullkiller AK's up, yeah! But that's only recent, so we actually have a positive this year. That's a surprise. Yeah, so if you're looking for investments, it's probably not the AK. What else do we have? The cardboard crossbow. Micro. I'm going to have a real quick look at that set. We talked about that. Cardboard collection. So yeah, I remembered the cardboard AK. This was made by Mishka. Supplies box is part of the cardboard set. Fake.
That's what I meant about. I have to wonder if this collection is properly named. You know, it's called the Cardboard Collection, but nothing in it is called cardboard. It's all made from cardboard.
What is the most recent?
It's a bit of a stretch.
What is the most
supplies box? Doesn't seem like it really fits in there.
No, it doesn't. What is the most recent Mishka skin? We could find it on SCMM. He had the Love Machine. Oh, sweet! I've got that right here. So I saw that just now. Love Machine, spelled in a weird way for some reason. Was that a spelling mistake?
You know, I don't know if that's a translation error or what.
Here we go. I'll go by store. And then, with help from SCMM, I can just click the creator name right here. Hello, Mishka. I click you. I see what you've made. And then I can see if they kept those names, the fake names. And nope, they were called Cardboard Helmet, Kilt and Vest. Cardboard Python. Supplies Box. Cardboard AR.
Oh, you're right. That's right. They did that thing they did with Copper, where it was called Police, and they decided to change the name when they put it out to the market.
Okay.
That's right. So I was misattributing it this whole time, thinking the collection was been properly named, but it is. It is good.
Pokemon Door. All right. So. Everything is looking pretty cool. Someone's just walked in and said, any tips from people new to the whole market Rust specific? Justify, Herco, that's your proper name. Buddy, I've got a whole list of videos right here. Now, if you're just getting started with the Rust economy, buddy, I've got a playlist right here called Rust Economy 101. We shall see it over here. It's right there. Start with Rust Store and Skins, then watch the second, then watch the third. I plan to have a whole series of videos out eventually, which will teach all of the newcomers, teach all the people that are only invested in the likes of CSGO. It's for everybody to come in, see how everything works in Rust. You understand the patterns, you understand how everything plays out in the routine of every single week. Watch these, you'll get to a level of understanding. Come to these streams, have questions, I'll answer them the best I can. You'll learn a little bit more every single day, much like what we do. We talk about various random, oft strange things. So we talk about boxes here. So here you go, I'll give you that. That's a link right there. I also have my Discord and I also have my YouTube. There you go. So yeah, always trying to help. I want more people involved with the Rust economy, and then it will flourish even higher. My main aim was to try and get more CSGO people involved because, well, if they put their money towards the Rust economy, then everything will work out quite nicely, wouldn't it? Rust economy on Steam is perfectly fine. It's probably one of the best. It is probably the best economy that isn't made by a Valve game on Steam at the moment. You might say PUBG. Well, you can't trade with PUBG skins because I don't know what they're up to. That's a whole strange thing. They've changed their box skins. They've changed their. You can't even get crates in them anymore. I don't understand how it works. I don't play PUBG. So yeah, that's Cardboard Crossbow. Sorry, I went off a bit tangent. A different tangent. When people ask me a question, I go on a ramble. So, hatchet and pickaxe tools. We've had 5 pairs of tools this year, I believe. Let's just take a real quick look. Warlord, blacksmith, overgrown, carbon fibre, rebar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So, Warlord hatchet. How many sales will this likely add up to? I don't think we're going to get many. We're probably going to be very similar to Rebar, and Rebar only had just over 6,000 sales and is already down by 48%. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. So, yeah, we're probably going to end up around here. It's not super standout, it's not super crazy. Yeah, see, this looks very simple, but it's very straight to the point and cool, but it's still lost its value. Overgrown has an extra bit of creativity behind it. It stands out a little bit. It's only down by 24%. Only down by 24%, but yeah, it struggled. But Blacksmith's hatchet had an extra bit of love. It's got that glow in the dark piece right there. That is, we could say, barely afloat. So this isn't super special. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound mean or anything, but you know that not every single hatchet's super special. As an investment, it's not looking very pretty. It could very easily end up like the Rebar hatchet. In fact, you know what? What's the cheapest hatchet skin we have right now? Selling for exactly $1. So it could happen. And that was a skin that came out last year. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And then we look at the pickaxe, and I'm pretty sure the pickaxe is pretty much going to be the exact same sort of thing. Here we are. Grab this. Newest. Similar, yep, very similar, down 48%, down 40%, down to 17%, up 1%. So very, very similar in layout, very similar in sales. This is very likely looking to be the same as this. We shall see. From what I forecast, from what I see with the potential likely outcome, it's not looking very pretty. So as an investment, not the best of things to buy into. So I think that's it. Are we done? Are we free? I think I've successfully talked about everything, even though SCMM isn't working properly today. But like what Micro said, if you look at every single workshop page, not this one, yep, you can see current subscribers, and that's the next best thing. So it doesn't point out duplicate sales, but it gives you a very good indication of how well this is doing. I mean, comparing this to the pickaxe, very clear difference, and it's totally believable, judging with the data that you have here, with that being at just around 10,000, this being at around just barely 3,000. So that's the next best thing that we can work with. So, wow, it's midnight. I left it a bit late today. It's unfortunate, but so as long as we got the message across, everything's fine. How are you people doing today? Are you all right? It's, well, today, it's the 24th. Yay! So let me just point out to all of you that watch this video, I'm actually streaming this right now. I've got a whole bunch of people here. Justify Herco just asked that question. I gave him all the information. I'm happy to help you if you've got questions. Just come to the Discord. I always put it in my descriptions for my YouTube videos and whatnot. So, yeah, come say hello. I do this every Saturday. I pretty much talk about Rust every day. I pretty much stream every single day. Come in, have questions to ask. I'll help you out. So, yeah, this is a frequent thing that we do routinely every week now. Got any questions? So, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned a lot. There's a lot of very random things being spoken about today, and I think this is probably going to be the biggest video I've ever done for a Saturday showcase. But there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of interesting tidbits. So, thank you all. Have a lovely day, and let's hope Black Gold Tier 3 appears next roster rotation.